A very good morning to everyone watching out there. You're watching Good Morning Sri Lanka on MTV Sports, and the weather out there, it looks pretty gloomy, I know, but trust me, if you just tuned in to MTV Sports, I assure you, your day is going to be much brighter, because we're going to change things around for today. Usually we take a look at the headlines at the start, but because we've got such an interesting guest, an exciting guest I would say, especially for those of you interested in sports, and also those of you interested in multinational companies as well. Someone who's made his mark in both of those aspects. If you remember the London Olympics, obviously everyone remembers that, it just finished off, but then again, before the Olympics began, there was a torch, a traditional sacred flame of, right from Athens, which was passed across and moved on to London. And guess what? On the 24th of July, if I'm not mistaken, the torch was being carried by a Sri Lankan. So without further ado, let's welcome our guest in the studio. A very good morning to Mr. Sujith Weerasinghe.
Good morning to you, Mevin. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good, feeling good.
Yes, and when did you come to Sri Lanka?
Actually, I came last Saturday, just for a few days, to make sure that I participate and share my experience, how the torch was carried and what we have done in the UK to make sure making Sri Lanka proud, basically. Yeah. So that's my theory all the time, making Sri Lanka proud.
Yeah, and folks, if you're just wondering what this thing right in front is, yes, it is the London Olympic torch, or one of the London Olympic torches that Mr. Sujith carried on the 24th of July, if
exactly,
I'm not mistaken.
at 12:27.
At 12:27, there we go. A lot of us didn't know about this phenomena, but it's indeed something that everyone, Sri Lankan sports fans, Sri Lankans in general, Sri Lankans living all over the world can really be proud of, that it was a Sri Lankan who was carrying this. And if I'm not mistaken, the specifications were that you can't really, brand any other national flag. But I think you made a small adjustment to it.
Exactly, because all about this sponsorship, so you cannot wear any other uniform or your own clothes, basically, and you need to wear the Adidas uniform, which been given by the Olympics committee. But I wanted to make sure that how I can make Sri Lanka proud, and it's a risk that if you want to wear anything, and they make sure that they give you a proper briefing to make sure that you don't wear anything. But I decided at my own risk that I want to wear a Sri Lankan flag. So I was thinking how I can make this one. Then I came up with the idea, I want to wear a Sri Lankan armband that to represent Mother Sri Lanka. So many my friends and everyone thought this is a risk, Sujith, you should not take the risk, and I was happy to take that risk to make sure that we make Sri Lanka proud. And you may see some pictures that I was wearing that, but luckily, because when you do good things, no danger will happen to you.
Yes,
I strongly believe in that. So I was lucky enough to put Sri Lanka flag in the world frame.
And get away with it.
And get away with it. That's the beauty of it.
The beauty of it, and true enough, I would say, a risk taker and getting away with risk is a traditional trait of Thomians. And I'm joined here with fellow Thomian as well, and it's very, very good that we are having this chat now. And also, let me start off by asking you about your work and your involvement in BP, and how this had led on to your involvement in the Olympics as well.
Exactly, because BP is a multi-billion company, highly reputed company, and so we were lucky enough to get involved with in Olympics as a tier 1 sponsor. So when you say tier 1 sponsor, means that you have key responsibility to make sure the games run smooth. So BP was involved with many aspects of the games, but then there was another work stream called Fueling the Future, and I was in charge of the Fueling the Future with my boss. I like to name her by the name of Nikki Rogers. So she was my boss, and we make sure that we did everything by the book to make sure that we need to make sure that the company get the right name. We didn't do anything for publicity. As a British company, we want to make sure that this is one in a lifetime you get the Olympics. So we managed to fulfill our obligations to the Olympics committee without zero accidents actually. So it's a great feeling when you think back how we made to do that. is great.
And the rewards were probably very satisfying because you even got the chance to carry the torch. Now, how was your experience in carrying the torch? I think we are going to have a video clip of that in a little while as well. So just wanted to ask you how, when you got the call, what did you really feel? When they said, okay, so you had to carry this torch this time and you've been given the chance. What did you really feel at that time?
Actually, I arrived very late evening and suddenly I was checking my emails. Then I can see, congratulations, Sujith. So I just had a quick run through and it's saying I'm an Olympic torch bearer. And I couldn't believe this. So I made sure that I read this properly, that there could be another Sujith Weerasinghe.
Yeah.
So, and when I checked it, it was me. And I was excited and couldn't wait for the day. And because I knew I won't get this opportunity, because for GB, for Great Britain, we will not get Olympics for another 50 years, and I will not see Olympics again in my lifetime in England. So to participate in such a fantastic occasion, I was thrilled, amazed. I mean, the feelings, it's very difficult to put into words.
Yeah, definitely, I understand. And let's just take a look at how Sujith carried the Olympic torch. I think we're going to have the video in just a little while, but we also have some exciting pictures coming your way of this entire process of carrying the torch and all that. Now, I would just like to ask you, how is this significant? Now, I know it's obviously a moment of pride for all Sri Lankans to see Sri Lankan carrying the Olympic torch, but in your opinion, how significant is this to Sri Lanka and also Sri Lankan sports?
Yeah, actually, I think Olympics comes every 4 years. I think the Olympics is finished, but I think it's another beginning. I think for Sri Lanka, because I was lucky enough to see some of the games, and there are opportunities that we really can capitalize. I think we really need to we need to target what we really want to, how we want to get involved in the Olympics. There are things that we can easily go for a gold. Especially, I would like to mention
now on the screen, if I just like to mention some of the pictures, if you just like to mention what's happening on the screen.
I mean, this is the time of the lighting of the torch. So this is, I'm ready to carry the torch. You can see the British police guarding the torch because they really didn't want to get any damage. You can see how they're protecting around the torch and make sure that there's no disturbance.
Yeah, I think everyone took it very seriously. I mean, it was meant to be taken seriously.
Yeah, and I was lucky enough to meet the Prime Minister, David Cameron, and to make sure that I participate at the Olympics Park. So one of the things, and this is another great moment, that there are a lot of Sri Lankans were carrying the flag and cheering me. And I felt at the time I was passing through Colombo or somewhere in Sri Lanka.
Because there were so many Sri Lankans, and right here on the screen, this is the moment of glory, I would say, where the sacred flame is passed on. And who was the torchbearer before you?
Before me, actually, he was another key character. He was somebody from the army that who has saved many aspects of people and who has really done very, very good things for the society. I think that is a key aspects of the games.
Right, there we go. And also another picture depicting
this is with the mayor.
Okay.
Yeah,
right. Sorry, I interrupted you earlier in your opinions on how this is going to be significant to Sri Lanka. And it's very clear out there that there was a lot of support, not just from Sri Lankans, but from a lot of other communities as well. And especially the Indians. I know when it comes to sports, Sri Lankans treat Indians as their arch rivals. But then again, they were very supportive, weren't they?
Actually, because you can see from the video that there were many Indians were supportive of me carrying the torch. They brought some drumming and the feeling, and it was a very good cultural thing as well, because none of the cities had the drumming for the torch. So that was the only city when I was carrying the torch, you had the Indian drumming came up. So it was very unique occasion actually, and that really it was a big hit on the news. That's the first time in the world when someone carrying a torch, you had Asian drumming. So it's great.
And also it's very nice to see that there was a lot of Asian culture embedded in that whole process of what was happening there.
Exactly. I mean, this is the beauty of mixing the different cultures, regardless where you come from. That doesn't matter. Get in the right place, right person, and to make sure that they go to the top.
Right.
So that's the key. I think it doesn't matter. I mean, this is I think one of the success that which I would like to share with our younger generations coming up, that do the right thing. Go for the goals. You need to have an aim and stick to the goal, and do not try to change day by day, and you will get there.
Exactly. Perseverance is the key and name of the game according to Sujith. But we'll have more from Sujith about his experiences and how the Olympic really worked off in London. Because a lot of people really didn't believe that London could pull it off so well.
Exactly.
But they did it. But right about now we're going to take a short commercial break. Stay tuned on to Good Morning Sri Lanka.
AAT Sri Lanka Conference 2012, The Entrepreneur, at the Hotel Cinnamon Lakeside, Colombo 2, on the 7th and 8th of